My name is Will, and I'm the founder of Tumalow, and we give commercial solar developers everything they need to include energy storage. See, commercial buildings are going solar, but every time it gets cloudy or dark, that costs money. Commercial buildings pay a demand charge. This is based on the 15 minutes each month they use the most power. And energy used for the demand charge costs hundreds of times more than energy used the rest of the month. Now, shouldn't they be able to use their solar energy when it's most valuable and not just when it's available? We think so, and we're not the only ones. So Dawn is a profile based on our interviews with commercial solar developers, and Dawn's customers want lower electric bills, and they want backup power. So Dawn wants to enter the billion-dollar market of commercial solar plus storage. So energy storage devices are cabinets of batteries that are installed into customer facilities. And Tumalow gives commercial solar developers like Dawn everything they need to include energy storage. Now this starts with selecting, sizing, and sourcing of the storage hardware. And it includes our operation and control software. So this is what tells the batteries when to charge and when to discharge. And we offer all this on a flexible, shared savings model. And this is designed to fit seamlessly with Dawn's existing business model, whether she works on a sell, a lease, or a PPA. Right? So let's visit our planned pilot site and see how their day should have been better using Tumalow energy storage. Now, they graciously agreed to share the data with me and with all of you today. We ran our control systems, over a year's worth of their data. And then I made this video so I could show everybody here, what it looks like a full day of activity here in just a minute. All right, so after we log in, we'll see what our users would see. We'll see a dashboard that shows at a glance how much power the building is using, how much the solar is producing, and then what the storage is doing. And then as we go through the day, we'll see when it gets cloudy, the solar production drops, and ordinarily, this would result in an expensive demand charge. But we go beyond just presenting this data, right? We take automatic action. So our control system automatically tells the storage to discharge, and that delivers savings to the end user. And then as we go through the rest of this day, you'll see all this happen again, around sunset. So there's a lot of fancy machine learning and optimization that's going on behind the scenes, but to the end user, this is all automatic. They don't have to do anything. They don't even have to really watch this if they don't want to. The only thing they have to do is enjoy the savings. And so at the end of each month, they'll receive a report that details what the storage did for them. This was a relatively small system, so their savings are meager, but as the storage system gets bigger, it delivers more savings. So these graphics were nice, but what really matters is performance. And our prototype was able to deliver 80% of perfect performance for this pilot building. To scale the business, we're collaborating with smart building developers like Virginia Tech and like Omzor to integrate our controls alongside solar in smart buildings. And reducing demand charges is really just the beginning. So Tumalow collects multiple revenue streams by selling a suite of services to both the buildings and to the electric grid. So we do this by connecting each storage system over the internet to a cloud server. And then this server in real time finds the highest value applications, tells each system when to charge and discharge. We make money then by operating this storage network. And we do this again on a flexible shared savings business model. The market size for operating this network is estimated at $1.2 billion per year today, and as the price of storage decreases, our market grows exponentially. We've done extensive market research and found that Virginia is the best place to start our business. We'll expand to New York and New Jersey to meet our 7 megawatt target. Now, Our existing customer sales pipeline can support about 5 megawatts, so we need only the funding and the resources to be able to cultivate that. Our customer segment is small to mid-size commercial solar developers, and our price will be set by our shared savings model. We've laid out a clear path to a final product. So it starts with software development integration. Next quarter, we'll install a pilot, and we'll manage 100 kilowatts for our customers by the end of the year. And we've developed the partnerships it takes to execute on this plan. So again, it starts with the pilot, and then it moves through our early customer sales pipeline. And we've also developed the partnerships it takes to execute on the rest of this go-to-market strategy. So these are companies that have real experience bringing tech products to market. For example, Next Gen Group was the company that helped Bloom Energy to secure a pilot program. Now, there's a lot of great storage companies that are working today. But Tumalow really has a unique position in this market. So for Dawn, we're her only choice for full integration of solar, storage, and smart buildings with a business model that's designed to fit seamlessly with her own. We're making 3 sort of high-level assumptions here, right? That solar developers want storage, that the price will go down, and that the value will increase over time. And sure, these are uncertain, but so far the early evidence is very favorable. We've chosen a diverse mix of success verification methods that let us show progress toward a final product, that let us reduce risk, complement our business plan, prove out our market acceptance, and execute contracts with our customers. And finally, we've assembled a well-rounded team with strengths on both the technical side and the business side. So for example, our team includes the founder of Liberty Capital, which is a tech-centric financial services company. We also have a mentor team that includes the CEO of a solar company and a director at the New York Energy Storage Consortium. And this is a group that's collectively raised over $150 million for tech companies. Right? So quick wrap up. Tumalow gives commercial solar developers everything they need to include energy storage. We demonstrated our MVP, right, our control software, and our customer dashboard. We've talked about how the business scales. So this is with integrating smart buildings and running a storage network. We laid out a clear path from development through our sales pipeline. And then you met the team, the partners, and the mentors that are going to make all this happen. So if you think we should be able to use solar energy when it's most valuable and not just when it's available, please support Tumalow into the incubation round. And thank you so much for your attention.
Companies who build a storage like a STEM or others, they already have a complex software that looks at a lot of parameters from weather to the rate structure to the load on the building to make decisions. So I did not quite understand how you suddenly in the middle can go and send a signal to the storage to do something. Do they even open up that APIs to you to do that management of the storage?
Yes, your question is how do we, like I claim to be telling the storage when to charge and discharge. How do I make that decision?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that go into this sort of algorithmic soup that we use to make these decisions. And you named some of them. And so my background is in solving big optimization problems. And so to me, when to tell storage when to charge and discharge, not just at the building network, but at a sort of at the fleet level, at the network level. I view that as a big optimization problem. And from an engineering standpoint, we've done some pretty clever ways to solve that problem in a way that really scales. So as our prototype did a pretty good job of this, right? We could capture about 80% of the perfect performance. We're working to improve that. And one way to do that is by throwing in sort of more of these factors.
So who's your customer? I ask that because the storage company already has that software or they work with you, and then you mentioned that the smart building management software is going to do that. That's not what I've seen out there.
That's right. So our customer are people like Dawn, small to mid-sized commercial solar developers. So what we found in the market is that there's commercial solar developers that are really interested in being able to include energy storage with their systems, but storage isn't their core competence, right? Their core competence is going out there and installing solar systems. So we give we give people like Dawn everything they need to include energy storage with their systems.
Two questions. First, can you give me an idea of what storage battery architecture you'd be biased towards in your systems? Whatever the state of the art, you're not just going with those hotshot Tesla guys down the road.
That's right, that's right. So one of the great ways, and this gets back to your question about what do we sort of solve. So one of the things that, one of the levers that we like to pull is we're battery storage agnostic. So that gives us the flexibility to select the best chemistry for the right job. And this matters a lot, especially when we're talking, the batteries that work, let's say in New York City, wouldn't necessarily work well for some of our early sites in Virginia. So the answer is we're remaining flexible on that, and that's giving us a lot of operational leeway.
Next question. If this is efficient, I would assume that I could take a pool of money, give it to you for the purpose of these installations. Mm-hmm. You could deploy the installations and give me a more than adequate return on the pool of money, in so doing, solving all the world's problems.
I hear you.
Is that okay? And can I bring you the check?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can work something out.
And what kind of returns do you think the money deployed in these kinds of efficiencies against peak charges on the grid would return? Sure.
So our early systems are going to be returning money in 3 ways: by reducing demand charges, by performing 2 grid services. One of them is called demand response, and one of them is called frequency regulation, and this is a grid balancing service. And so by the combination of these 3 revenue streams, we can return about 30% a year. Now over time, even though as storage costs will drop, I put to you that the value of storage that's installed will increase because more and more revenue streams will become available. And you're already starting to see this in markets like Virginia and New York.
When you say that you've demoed it or mm-hmm. piloted it, is that to say that you've run a simulation on a computer, or do you actually have a real system that you are sending control signals to with your algorithm?
Yeah, so we're working with our planned pilot site. So in the next quarter, we'll be installing our pilot site. But as the sort of lead up to that, we took about a year's worth of their data, run the control system, and then I picked one day there to kind of show for my movie. So this is a simulation, okay. but that's in preparation for our pilot installation next quarter.
Will, that was a great presentation. It was one of the best demand charge reduction slides and explanations I've seen. Seriously, that was great. But on the solar plus storage front, mm-hmm. It feels like we're all excited because we just saw a storage pitch at a solar event. How much, your pitch works equally well without the solar installation, is that right? Dawn could just be a storage installer or an electrician. You don't need solar plus storage. So
yes and no. You're absolutely right. And some of our early customers are interested in standalone systems. But there's a lot of synergy between solar and storage, right? And remember the graph that we saw in the beginning. The usage went up in the beginning of the day, right? And it was flat the whole way across. Now, if I just had standalone storage, there's very little I can do for this customer. But you saw that the solar sort of carved out the middle of the day, right? So now with a much cheaper storage system, and one of the things we're trying to do is really minimize the storage costs. So I want to be able to install a 1 to 2 hour battery in these systems to deliver these demand charge savings, which is pretty aggressive. And I couldn't do that for that building that you saw without the solar.
So it works as a days that are 100% cloudy, and mm-hmm. then those mm-hmm. set the demand charge for the month. So you will have those, those brick days that go straight across the top. So how do you guarantee that you don't have that?
That's right. So in these early days, while storage is still relatively expensive, and some of those folks down the street are working to prevent that, but in these early days, we actually have to be a little choosy about our customers. So we've developed some pretty sophisticated analytical tools to be able to distinguish who can we drive a lot of value to and who maybe has to wait a little while.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.